This weekend, across the Atlantic, millions of people are gathering for parades, barbecues, and fireworks to celebrate the 4th of July. But here in the UK and Ireland, the 4th can hold a different kind of significance for family historians. While America celebrates its independence, we often find ourselves looking at the gaps in our own family trees. The siblings who vanished from the census, the cousins who went away, and the ancestors who boarded a ship and never looked back. Today, we're going to talk about how to find them. We're untangling the threads of emigration to the US to help you bridge the ocean and find the ones who left. It's a common frustration. You're tracking a family in a village in Yorkshire or a townland in Galway, and suddenly they're gone. For many of us, our family story doesn't end at our shores, it simply changes location. Tracing these lost branches isn't just about adding names to a database. It's about understanding the scale of our family's reach. When you find an ancestor in America, you open up a treasure trove of records, different census styles, detailed obituaries, and perhaps even a whole new set of living cousins you never knew existed. It's important to remember that emigration was rarely a casual choice. It was a life-altering decision, usually born of necessity or hope. For many in Ireland, the Great Famine of the 1840s was the catalyst, a matter of survival. For others in the UK, it was the shift to the Industrial Revolution, where traditional crafts were being replaced by machines, leaving skilled workers without a living. Some left for religious or political freedom, while others were part of an assisted immigration schemes where landlords or the government paid their passage to ease local poverty. And then there was the pull factor. The letters home describing cheap land, better wages, or a brother who had already settled in Philadelphia or Chicago and promised to find them a job. Every name on a list represents a person who weighed what they were losing against what they might gain. Now, before you go hunting through American records, you have to do the groundwork here at home. You need a solid launchpad for information. To find them in the US, you ideally need their full name and be prepared for spelling changes. Smith with a Y might become Smith with an I. An approximate birth year, their specific place of origin. Just Ireland or England is often too broad for US records. You want the parish, the townland, or the county. The names of parents or siblings who might have travelled with them. And finally, the last record you have from them here. Was it a marriage in 1862, a census in 1881? That gives your window for departure. So what records bridge the gap? Well, first, passenger lists. These are the primary link. Before 1890, records can be a bit sparse, but as time went on, they became incredibly detailed, listing their last residence and who they were going to visit. Once they arrived, the US federal census, taken every 10 years, is vital. It will often tell you what year they emigrated and whether they had become a naturalised citizen. Speaking of which, naturalisation records are gold mines. They often require the immigrant to state exactly when and where they arrived. And don't overlook obituaries. In local American newspapers, unlike UK death notices of the time, American obituaries often tell a life story, specifically mentioning their birthplace in the old country and the names of siblings still living back home. Now, a few practical tips for those passenger lists. Don't trust the ages. People often lie to get cheaper fares or to be more employable. Look for the chain. People rarely travelled alone. If you find your ancestors, look at the 5 names above and below them. Do you recognise a neighbour's name, a cousin? This is chain migration. Entire streets sometimes move to the same American town. The port matters. Don't just look at New York. Depending on where they lived, they might have sailed from Liverpool, Glasgow, London, or Queenstown, and they might have landed in Boston, Philadelphia, or even via Canada. Arrival was just the beginning. To build their story, you need to track them through the states. Use the US censuses to see their life progress. Did they move from a tenement in New York to a farm in Iowa? Compare the names of their children. If an Irish immigrant in New York names their children Patrick, Bridget, and Colm, and those match the names of the siblings back in Galway, you're likely on the right track. American records often provide that connective tissue that links the two lives together. Now let's look at a quick example. Imagine you're looking for Ellen Sullivan from County Cork. She disappears after 1850. You find an Ellen Sullivan on a manifest arriving in New York in 1852. Is it her? By checking the 1860 census, you find Ellen living with a Sullivan family in Massachusetts. The head of the house is an older brother, John. You go back to the Irish records and find John and Ellen were indeed siblings. Then you find Ellen's marriage record in Boston, which lists her parents' names, matching your Irish records perfectly. The circle is closed. A few traps to avoid. The same name trap. There are thousands of Mary Murphys and John Smiths. Never assume the first one you find is yours without secondary proof. The spelling myth. Don't assume the name was spelt one way. Many immigrants were illiterate. Their names were written down by how they sounded to a busy port official. Ignore the siblings. Often the records for a missing brother are more detailed than the ones for your direct ancestor. Trace the whole family to find the one clue you need. Beyond the dates and the documents, here's the human heart of the story. Emigration was a kind of grief. In Ireland, they called the night before departure the American wake, because they knew they might never see that person again. It took immense courage to step onto a boat, often in cramped and dangerous conditions, to go to a place you'd only heard about in letters. When you find that passenger list, you aren't just finding a record, you're finding the moment your family's history split in two. It's a story of survival, reinvention, and the incredible bravery of those who went before us. So this 4th of July weekend, while the fireworks are going off across the pond, why not take an hour to look for that missing branch? You might just find a whole new chapter of your story waiting for you. I'd love to hear about your research. Who is the ancestor you're trying to track down? Do you have a name, a port of departure, or a US state where they ended up? Drop a comment below. Let's see if we can help each other bridge the gap. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and share it, and subscribe to Untangling Family History for more tips on finding your roots. Every ancestor has a story. It's just waiting for you to find it. Happy hunting.